Welcome to Mempadadal, a space created to help you be a better you. This video is a tribute to Dr. Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan, whose birth anniversary is celebrated as Teachers' Day. In India, 5th of September is celebrated as Teachers' Day. I'm not sure how many other countries have a day to celebrate their teachers. Respecting and celebrating teachers has been a part and parcel of Indian culture for a very long time. When I was in school, instead of saying good morning and good afternoon to greet the teachers, we greeted our teachers by saying Shri Gurubhyo Namaha, meaning I pay my respects, salutations to the Guru, the teacher. Such was the importance to the teacher. 5th September marks the birth anniversary of Dr. Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan. He was born into a middle class family in the year 1888. He was the first Indian to hold a chair at the University of Oxford. He was also knighted, but he stopped using his Sir title once India got independence. He was the first vice president of independent India and then became the second president of the country. He grew up at an age when the West was highly critical of the East and the culture that the East followed. Dr. Radhakrishnan had said, "My pride as a Hindu, roused by the enterprise and eloquence of Swami Vivekananda, was deeply hurt by the treatment accorded to Hinduism in missionary institutions. It was one of the reasons why he pursued his thesis at a young age of 20. The topic of his thesis was the ethics of Vedanta and its metaphysical presuppositions. He studied and also published several books which were in response to the Western world's allegation that the Vedanta system lacked ethics. His work showed how ethics was not a separate entity after all, and that the Western view was ill-informed. He became a philosopher more by chance. He could not afford to buy books, so when his cousin, who had studied philosophy, offered to hand down his books, he decided to study philosophy. It is safe to say that he did not do it just for the sake of it. It may not have been something that he dreamt of studying, but once into it, he mastered it and even gave back to the society in the form of philosophy. Today, there may be several teachers who may not have become teachers by choice, more by chance. It does not matter how one became a teacher, it matters how good a teacher they are. Dr. Radhakrishnan was a visionary. He is believed to have said that the teachers must be the best minds of the country. What a great vision! There is a reason why teachers must be the best minds. After all, they are the only professionals that are capable of making other professionals. We are at a day and age where Google has become a teacher within quotes. And to be fair, a lot of technical information can be learned by Googling. So, what is the role of teachers in this era? If anything, there is a bigger role for them to play now. And here's my view of what it must encompass. I have also included some attributes a teacher must possess. Google may give answers, but what prompts the child to ask the questions? The curiosity, the spark has to be triggered by the teacher. The interest has to be created by the teacher so the child develops the desire to know more about the subject. The teachers must be an endless source of inspiration. When you see Dr. Kalam's videos, you can see how inspired he was by his science teacher. It is not difficult to see why a teacher in flesh is very much needed to serve as an inspiration, and Google alone is not going to suffice. Teachers must be eternal learners. A teacher never stops learning. When we think we know, we cease to learn, said Dr. S. Radhakrishnan. They must also demonstrate that learning has no end or age limit. Teachers must seek knowledge. If they fail to learn, they fail to teach. It is a constant assimilation and application of knowledge that often inspires children. Like how they say you cannot fill from an empty cup. If the teacher lacks knowledge, it is going to be extremely hard for them to teach. Personally, the teachers that showed command over this subject are ones that remain my favorite teachers till date. Students must be taught life skills and life lessons. Dealing with adversity, dealing with setbacks, facing challenges are all skills that are absolutely essential no matter how many computers and robots we may have around us. Children spend huge amount of time in school and teachers must be able to teach these skills to the children. Teachers must be an embodiment of positivity. Even when the student and their parents do not believe in themselves, the teacher must believe them and be like the lifeline every child deserves to have. Some of my friends still remember some teachers telling them the exact opposite. Unfortunately, there are many teachers that say things like, "You're good for nothing," or "You will never come up in life." Such words were etched in the child's mind, and it is not every child that manages to overcome such negativity. This shows a clear failure on the part of the teacher. We do not want any more negativity in this world. Teachers must make the children feel empowered. The tools and techniques that will enable them to think for themselves is something a teacher must impart. Where better to learn to be a good citizen than from a teacher? A number of topics that affect everyday life are taken for granted. Teacher must help the child see how they can serve the society they are living in. They must start seeing how they must grow up to be responsible citizens of their country, and the teacher must be a role model to them. Reflective learning is the best way to learn. To touch fire and understand it burns is a learning, but learning that all fire are hot and can burn is reflective learning. Such rich learning experience needs a great teacher. Reflection is an important skill that all of us have to learn. While information overload is common these days, it also means many of us are not able to make up our own minds and get swayed by other people's opinion. Reflection helps us listen, but process it and make up our own mind. It makes us think for ourselves and not be reactive. Dr. Radhakrishnan did not become an extremist because he was pained by the West's criticism. Instead, he reflected, he learned, he reflected further, and made up his own mind. This modern day teachers must follow and teach. The role of a teacher is certainly not limited to subjects. They have a much higher role. I hope all teachers, no matter where you teach, appreciate how important their role is in their students' life and embrace the privilege of being a teacher. I'd like to thank all the teachers who made a positive difference in my life, including my mother. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha.